Disclosure is a fundamental principle of corporate governance that promotes transparency, accountability, and effective communication between an organization and its stakeholders. Through appropriate disclosure, organizations provide relevant financial and non-financial information that enables shareholders, investors, regulators, employees, creditors, customers, and society to evaluate corporate performance, governance quality, and long-term prospects. Within the program, disclosure is viewed not merely as a statutory reporting obligation but as a strategic governance mechanism that strengthens stakeholder confidence, reduces information asymmetry, and supports informed decision-making. Effective disclosure therefore contributes directly to good governance by ensuring that organizational activities remain transparent, accountable, and subject to appropriate external scrutiny. The framework emphasizes that disclosure creates and maintains communication channels with shareholders and stakeholders, thereby becoming the mechanism through which governance achieves transparency. The general principles of disclosure are founded upon the need to communicate openly and honestly with stakeholders regarding organizational performance, governance arrangements, risks, and strategic direction. In publicly listed companies, shareholders are generally separated from day-to-day management and therefore rely heavily on corporate reporting to assess executive performance and stewardship of invested resources. The framework notes that the annual general meeting, AGM, represents the most important, and often the only, opportunity for directors to communicate directly with shareholders, while the annual report and financial statements frequently constitute the only legally required disclosure provided to shareholders. Consequently, annual reporting plays a central role in maintaining shareholder accountability and supporting effective governance. Mandatory disclosure principles identify both the target audience and the mechanisms through which disclosure occurs. Shareholders remain the principal recipients of mandatory corporate reporting because they provide risk capital and require reliable information to exercise ownership rights and evaluate investment performance. However, modern governance recognizes that wider stakeholder groups also require access to relevant information regarding organizational strategy, sustainability performance, risk management, and governance effectiveness. Disclosure mechanisms therefore extend beyond annual reports to include shareholder meetings, sustainability reports, integrated reports, investor presentations, corporate websites, and regulatory announcements. The program highlights that improvements in disclosure enhance transparency, which is one of the primary objectives of governance reform worldwide. Modern disclosure increasingly incorporates non-financial information, reflecting growing stakeholder demand for broader accountability beyond traditional financial reporting. Investors and regulators now expect organizations to report on environmental performance, social impact, governance practices, climate-related risks, diversity, ethical conduct, and long-term value creation alongside conventional financial indicators. Such disclosures reduce information asymmetry while enabling stakeholders to evaluate organizational sustainability, resilience, and responsible business conduct. Consequently, disclosure has evolved from a compliance exercise into an important strategic communication tool supporting stakeholder engagement and corporate legitimacy. An increasingly significant aspect of corporate reporting concerns sustainability, which reflects the principle that organizations should meet present economic and social needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability extends corporate governance beyond financial performance by integrating environmental stewardship, resource efficiency, social well-being, and long-term organizational resilience into strategic decision-making. The framework defines sustainable development as development that satisfies current needs while preserving future generations' ability to satisfy theirs, highlighting the interdependence between economic growth, environmental protection, and social responsibility. The program identifies environmental footprint as an important measure of sustainability performance. Environmental footprint seeks to evaluate the extent of an organization's environmental impact through three principal dimensions: resource consumption, pollution emissions, and the measurement of these impacts in qualitative, quantitative, or replacement terms. Resource consumption includes energy, water, and raw material usage, while pollution measures encompass greenhouse gas emissions, waste generation, and environmental contamination. Evaluating environmental footprint enables organizations to identify opportunities for improved resource efficiency, carbon reduction, and environmental risk management while supporting stakeholder expectations regarding sustainable business practices. The syllabus also introduces the concept of social footprint, which evaluates organizational sustainability through the development of different forms of social capital. Social footprint considers the organization's contribution to human capital, social capital, and constructed capital. Human capital comprises employees' health, knowledge, skills, experience, and competencies that contribute to productive activity. Social capital represents networks, relationships, shared knowledge, and collaboration that facilitate collective action and organizational effectiveness. Constructed capital includes physical infrastructure, technology, utilities, and other material assets that support productive activity and long-term societal development. Together, these dimensions provide a broader assessment of organizational contribution to sustainable economic and social progress beyond conventional financial reporting. The framework further recognizes the importance of a sustainability audit, defined as an in-depth examination of an organization's entire environmental management system and associated arrangements. Sustainability audits assess the effectiveness of environmental policies, resource management practices, regulatory compliance, and sustainability reporting processes while identifying opportunities for continuous improvement.